Noni Madueke has been linked with Arsenal Football Club. If we bring in a game-changing left winger or wide option inside forward, let's not get hung up on specifics. That takes us to the next level. In addition to a Madueke, who I don't think is the worst player, I actually like his attitude. He is an England international, and there is some use there. I wouldn't be against it. For me, though, I'm not for this. It stinks of what our windows have become. In that, if we don't buy goalies, we don't buy left backs. We don't buy Chelsea. We don't bargain hunt at Chelsea. Something is really up. And, we're helping. Not that Chelsea need it. They spent like £1 billion. But you've given them 5 million for Kepa, giving them money for Kai Havertz and Jorginho, who done all right. And the list goes on. Yeah, it don't really scream. It's not really the unprecedented summer filled with signing with players with X factor or the goosebumps that Mikel Arteta has brought. Now, I don't doubt that. You have your plan A targets, your Rodrigos, your Nico Williams, your Liaos. You've got your Malik Fufanas, Jamie Gittens, emerging kind of talents, and a bunch of others. We've been with Anthony Gordon. It wouldn't surprise me if, regardless of what I think about the player, if Madueke is on some level of list. That being said, come on, man. Is that going to get us over the line? I'm not asking him to do it individually, but come on. Let's see what the actual article is saying. Arsenal among clubs monitoring Noni Madueke's situation at Chelsea. England international not considered untouchable at Stamford Bridge, and host of Premier League clubs are in the market for wingers. I mean, they've got Estalvio and a bunch of other, Quenda's doing well as well. They got a bunch of players to come into the ranks in which he could be disposable. Apparently, he's on the radar of a host of clubs this summer, including Arsenal. Arsenal are understood to have made checks on a number of different players, which makes it hard to gauge the strength of their interest in Madueke and whether they will pursue him. So maybe Matt Law, it sounds great, but when you break it down, obviously you've got clicks. Everyone's talking about Madueke. And while I don't want to see it, this is something that we see in football. Wouldn't surprise me if we've inquired about or gauged, what they're saying over there at Man United for definitely not Anthony, but Sancho and Rashford and players of that ilk, people. Madueke has not been put up for sale by Chelsea and has not been offered to clubs, but rivals believe he could be sold this summer, with the 23-year-old not considered to be untouchable. Chelsea have not received any approach from Arsenal or held talks with their London neighbours over Madueke. We've done a lot of dealings, but the North London club are thought to be among those to have looked at his situation. So there's been no talks, there's been no bids, there's no way of gauging the level of interest. Of course, it stinks of Raheem Sterling. So when you go beyond the headline and the fanfare of, this ain't the player, take us to the next level, Arteta and Bert, what are you doing? It's really a non-starter, really, if I'm honest with you. A number of clubs are interested in signing wide players this summer, and Madueke's ability to play on the right and left makes him an attractive proposition. Newcastle and Madueke's former club Tottenham Hotspur are looking at wide players who can predominantly play from the right. Well, there you have it then, innit? You're going to have to predominantly play on the left. You'd be holding bench, and that might have ramifications of what goes on with in the England squad. United are optimistic about clinching the signing of Mbeumo from Brentford despite late interest from Spurs. Mbeumo, who he's been linked with. We want to sign a wide player as well as a striker this summer. We know Nico Williams has been a target like Sane. So it's not really that. I'd rather Pedro Neto if we had to cop a player, if I'm honest with you, or if they're dumb enough to sell Estalvio, who hasn't even been given a chance. I don't know. Now, Sky Germany said Arsenal are currently not willing to pay 80 to 100 million euros demanded by Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. There have been no official offers from Arsenal yet. Arsenal and the players' camp remain in contact, but personal terms are not yet fully agreed. Arsenal are still monitoring Gyökeres. It will be crucial to see whether he can move for the verbally agreed 60 to 70 million euros, or if Sporting will demand more. Where Gyökeres is concerned, apparently George Mendes is being seen as an intermediary to get a deal done. There's been numerous rumors. There's been numerous rumors with Sesko. They want a quick resolution. Leipzig, they're now dragging their heels. We've agreed personal terms. We haven't. Describing, the price of 80 to 100 million has been described as wide of the mark. But then also, likewise, there's been several other rumors. So God knows who really knows what's going on. One thing that would annoy me, though, apparently Sesko stuns Arsenal with release clause demand. Now, I get it. He has spoken about wanting to play for Real Madrid one day. And I know I shouldn't think like this, but F off if you want a release clause. Forget all of that. If you want a release clause, go get Gyökeres. We don't know this, but apparently he wants a release clause in his contract if he is to join Arsenal from Leipzig this summer. We haven't heard that before. We're among the top targets. Arsenal have already made a verbal offer of 65 million euros, including bonuses for Gyökeres, which was rejected, with Sesko potentially being seen as plan B, while a move for Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins cannot be ruled out, according to Duncan Castles. No clue on the credibility of Duncan Castles, with the greatest of respect. I understand that Sesko is asking for an exit clause on any deal he agrees with Arsenal, and he would like the release clause to be set at just 20% increase on whatever price they end up paying for him. Dead. Forget that. You want a release clause, F off. I hear it. Because if you do your job and you have the potential and you realize your dream of playing for Real Madrid, it makes sense. Dead that. Arsenal, if we sign Sesko and he really is as good and can become as good as they want, we need to get big bad money. Because a big carrot of Sesko is how you can help us, obviously, in the short, medium, and also long term. And I think football's gone a bit like this and Arsenal in that trap, but resale value. It's quite unusual to ask for something like that when you're moving from, let's say, a second tier European club to one that is perceived as a first tier club. To be fair, he's got a release clause already, and one of the most financially affluent clubs in European football. I think it's unlikely that Arsenal would agree to a deal on those terms. Fair enough. And that demand could lead to us going for someone like Jurriën. It seems outrageous. I know in some leagues it's the law, like you see with Spain. So you have to have them like in Spain, but then you end up seeing Real Madrid signing a player and they confirm that his release clause is $1 billion or something astronomical. But when you move to a team like Arsenal, you as Arsenal don't want to be seen as a stepping stone club. Arsenal probably want someone with the mindset of Jurriën, who is there to win trophies and there to play in the Champions League and to achieve as much as possible, which, to be fair, Sesko could be saying that, not necessarily be thinking about the next step down the line. Yeah, but that's also, the same logic could be said with Saka, Saliba, etc. The expectation would be that he's there forever. That doesn't happen in football, essentially. And you don't want your player coming in and already with his foot in the door, considering what else might be out there. I don't mind that. It's nice to have a trajectory. Frankie de Jong said he saw in his life Arsenal and then Barcelona. You can have that. Saliba, I'm sure, dreams of Real Madrid and wanted to achieve stuff at Arsenal. You can have that. And I don't think that doesn't mean you're not going to focus on achieving and maximizing your potential at Arsenal Football Club. My thing is the release clause. If forget that. If you do what needs to be done, the move can happen, but it's got to be on our terms. So forget all of that, people. Alex Crook might be living up to his last name. I had a message 24 hours or so ago suggesting Jurriën has told family and friends that he expects to join Arsenal. Arsenal are juggling both him and Sesko, but at the moment, I would say Jurriën looked more likely. Thomas Partey is expected to leave Arsenal as negotiations over a new deal are at a standstill. A source has told ESPN Partey will leave the club on June the 30th. Apparently, Liverpool have held talks up with Joel Hatto over a big move from Ajax this season. I would love him to say, how much money you lot got, Liverpool, really? You get it. You got Verts, you got Frimpong, you talk about them going for Isaac, my man. It's not fair, is it? Who have we got right now? Apparently, Timber's given an interview and he said, I knew I would have to have surgery at the end of the season and I was determined to play. By that moment, I felt I wouldn't be able to, but adrenaline proved to be the best medicine. This is why I feel sorry for the players, because they've been rushed back from injury. They've played with injuries and knocks. They've put their lives and bodies on the line for the cause. And I think that level of commitment needs to be reflected from Berta in the market and also Arteta in recruitment and everyone else. Tim Lewis, all the lawyers, the owner, everyone. The pain was getting worse day by day. I had tests with the Dutch national team, and the result was that I needed an operation at the end of the season. I was determined to continue playing for Arsenal, but it was very difficult. In the first leg of the semi-final against PSG, which is the only time you could say he's struggled, he suffered a new injury to the heel of the same injured foot. At halftime, I told myself, I have no idea how I'm going to finish the match because I couldn't run. But in the second half, the adrenaline returned. And then he said on the return leg, I didn't train all week. I was very nervous before the return leg. The pain was very severe. The day before the return leg, Timber apparently took part in training to check his condition. The result was not good. I did an overlap with Saka. The running wasn't painful, but stopping was very painful. When I stopped running, I said, this isn't going to work. I was already suffering, but the coach said, Jurriën, take your time. Even walking was difficult. What do you lot make of that? Brentford have put a 50 million asking price on Visa. Clubs interested. Nottingham Forest, who tried to get him in January. Tottenham Hotspur, who have got the Brentford's former manager, Thomas Frank. Arsenal, our team, greatest we've ever seen. Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, people. Apparently, Arsenal will pay slightly more than the 60 million release clause as part of the pact with Sociedad for the Martin Zubimendi deal. The fee will be a bit higher, but allowing payment in installments as clubs share excellent relationship. Here we go again. For someone that we've heard a lot of talk and it was done in January, why do we keep, I hear it, Romano, the game's the game, but we keep hearing the same things. Like at this point, you want to see medicals and holding shirts. And I think this is a bit of mind games because we've seen it come out today that it doesn't look likely that Thomas Partey is going to sign a new deal. Carlos Cuesta has been confirmed as the new Parma manager. Best of luck. The meeting between Xabi Alonso and Rodrigo is set to take place during the Club World Cup in America. His exact role in the team is paramount to any future decision. So if you got small hope for Rodrigo, there you have it. And the assist, the tracking back, it didn't look like someone against El Hilal that wants to leave Real Madrid without a fight. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri have both been nominated for PFA Young Player of the Year 2025 as voted for by the player. Some good names there. Liam Delap, Howson, Kirkes, Morgan Rogers, Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly. Surely Miles Lewis-Skelly's got to win that. I think him, Morgan Rogers, and Kirkes would be my favourites. Then Howson, probably Liam Delap and Nwaneri. It's nice to get nominated, but I don't think they'll win that. We've gone over that. We've gone over that. We've gone over... Well, Arsenal are monitoring Lucien Agome's situation, and he is one of the names on the shortlist to replace Thomas Partey. However, they haven't contacted the player yet. With Sevilla's financial difficulties, Agome, 23, would probably cost less than 20 million euros, people. And once again, negotiations between Arsenal and Thomas Partey over a new deal are not advancing. No agreement so far, and now concrete chances to part ways in the upcoming days. Thomas would be available as a free agent. So again, there's a lot of noise, but not a lot of things that have happened at our football club just yet.